here in this Lendo clinic. The Lendo problem here, this clinic is overcrowded. I would say around about 70 to 80% of foreign nationals that are attending this Lendo clinic. And on the other hand, there is what is happening here, which is the identity theft. Because we've had quite a lot of cases that were reported to me even last year. And we had called the police from Moffat View Police Station to attend and arrest those people. When I say those people, I want to be specific. Foreign nationals that had used South African IDs, because some of these South African IDs that they use, they rent them or they pay South Africans. You'll understand. And then you find that maybe 4 or 5 of them, pregnant women, using one identity card.
Those are strong allegations, Mama. Is this something that you have brought to perhaps the Department of Health, where you guys have noticed that someone is using a South African ID when they're not?
Yes, Ngobile, we do have proof, because the fact that police were called in my presence, in some of these cases, not all of them.
So I want to address this video you just watched. This is a video in South Africa that's happening in South Africa around the people that South Africans refer to as undocumented or otherwise illegal immigrants. I want to address this issue around loans or selling of IDs. It's alleged that South Africans are selling their identifications to illegal immigrants in South Africa to access public health services, free public health services. Now, I want to talk about why this is a problem. This may be seen for you as very passive, you being passive or generous, but in reality, this action of loaning your identification breaks the law, enables frauds, and puts your own life and the healthcare at serious risk. So there's the risk that it does for a person who loan their identity to others is that you are complicit to fraud. You are complicit in fraud. Sharing your South African ID so someone else can access services, it's a criminal act under the Identification Act, National Health Act, and Social Assistance Act. You are enabling someone to claim benefits or medical services that they are not entitled to. If it involves money, it becomes identity fraud for financial gain. The second thing that you are doing in this case, you are putting your own life at risk. Why I'm saying this, you're putting your own life at risk. Your medical records could be changed forever. If the person you lent your ID to say if that person says they have no allergies, it goes on your file. Later, you get treated based on that wrong information and could be given a medication that kills you. You could be given a medication that kills you. Another thing why this is actually putting your own life at risk is around vaccine and pregnancy records when they get mixed up. If you're pregnant, get a vaccine or a given treatment under your ID, your medical file reflects that. Next time you visit the clinic may really refuse needed services. They may refuse to give you a vaccine because it looks like you already had vaccine on file because you gave someone else identification. It will show on the file. They may refuse, and they will have every right to refuse. In fact, in always case, they must refuse to give you a vaccine because the records would suggest that you've had one before. And if giving you, while the record suggests that you've had the vaccine before and they gave it to you, they may be charged with giving you an overdose. That's why they will, in most cases, they will refuse to give you another vaccine because the records on file may indicate that you've already had vaccine, but those records would have been someone else's records because you've loaned your identification to another person. So also another thing that you could actually lose your right to social assistance when multiple people use your identification across clinics. The Department of Health may flag your identification as suspicious, block access to SASA, your RDP, and public housing programs. Or if you're pensioner, you would your access to pension would be blocked as suspicious because there's a duplicate. You could be investigated and lose all state support. As we've seen with some cases in KZN, where people have lost access to their access to some form of social assistance due to these duplicates. So the public message for you all is that letting someone else use your identification is not helping, it's hurting you. You could lose your medical records, your benefits, and even your life.